skeptical and I did not want to choose a topic is because I started the News Minute in 2014. The first 3 years, wherever I got invited, I was asked to speak about how South India is ignored by the large Delhi media. And I think News Minute and the others who came up later have solved that problem to some extent. So I don't get asked to talk about that. The next 3 years of my life, I was always invited to speak about how unsafe it is for women journalists on social media. How do you fight back? How do you stay safe? How do you stay sane? The next 3 years, I was always asked to talk about how unsafe is it to run independent media organizations? When do you propose to go to jail? How do you support independent media, especially digital media? So I am actually dead tired of these three topics. Not that they aren't important. The first is more or less solved. We do talk about South India a lot now. The second and third still persists. In fact, the third is so dire. I'm the chairperson of DigiPub. It's the largest digital media association in India with around 100 members, including The Wire, Quint, Scroll, News Laundry, Mojo TV, Ravish Kumar, everybody. Um, in my 20 years of journalism, for the first time, I had to organize two workshops where we had to tell journalists what to do if the police come knocking, and second, what to do if the police ask for your, or ED or IT ask for your mobile phone or your laptop. What are the different laws or rules that you have to fall back on? We actually had training classes for journalists. But I thought I don't want to talk about any of this because we all have had an overdose of how difficult it is for digital media to work in India, how a lot of laws have been brought in by the Narendra Modi government. I was looking at Amitabh's one of the slides of the manifesto, which said that you will not have police, what is it, barging in sort of houses, right? And I was thinking, hopefully, Congress chief ministers will read this manifesto because in Telangana and all, they are still doing cordon searching, though there is a yeah. So uh, the so then I thought, okay, let's talk about digital media spaces and social media in South India. So I'll quickly tell you about South India and social media and digital journalism. First Post was one of the first English sites that all of us knew. It started in 2012, but way before that, in 2006, there was a website which started called One India. It's now there in many languages. The content is questionable, etc., etc. But the point is, it one of the first websites in India, news websites in India, which is now I think there in at least 10 to 12 languages, was from Bangalore. It's called One India. It was started by this person called BG Mahesh. Today, the South has a lot of independent media organizations, including the News Minute. We have the Ken. We have Article 14 by Summer. In Malayalam, we have Arimugham, the Q, the Fourth. In Tamil, it's a little less. In Telugu, in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh, there is News Tap, News Meter. Now there is the South First. So we have a lot of digital media presence in the South. And of course, all the big legacy media, including Malayalam Manorama and the Hindu, have a digital first approach now, whereas they focus a lot on digital media. So that way, the South Indian media houses have adapted digital quite fast. And all of us are doing the same rat race, like how to do a better Insta reel or how to put things on Facebook better, YouTube better. So that way, we're not very different from the rest of India. What is perhaps different about the media in South India is I feel in mainstream media, there is definitely less disinformation and misinformation compared to Hindi and English channels, which are 90% of misinformation and 5% of disinformation, and then rest 5% is news. But even if you take Kannada, Karnataka has had a BJP government, but despite that, though there is a lot of polarization within Kannada media, I believe that to some extent they do report news properly. For example, when the Karnataka elections were happening, the Congress manifesto, for the first time, I saw a very combative manifesto which went on to say that groups like Bajrang Dal would be banned if they did not toe a certain line. And there was a lot of pushback, not just from the right wing channels, not from just the BJP, but even a lot of media. The English media were pushing back, saying, "How can you ban Bajrang Dal?" But very surprisingly, I saw that the Kannada media were taking a subdued angle. Perhaps they knew which way the wind was blowing. They knew that Congress was going to win, so they didn't want to piss off Siddaramaiah. But they were kind of taking a soft tone on the Bajrang Dal ban. But if you take Malayalam, if you take Tamil, if you take Telugu or Kannada, there is some level of journalism still there in the regional media, both in print, in digital, and of course in TV too. And I think that also has an impact on the way the population votes, right? If every single day I had TV channels telling me that welfare measures or the social justice movement is bad and these are just freebies, then obviously people are going to think so. So I think the way your local media behaves does have an impact, and that is why the South is able to behave differently, because its mainstream media still is not completely taken over by the right wing narrative, but it is slowly happening. I wouldn't say that it is not. It is slowly happening. And after 2024, if the predictions are true and the government does come back, I think there is no way out even for them, because again, it's a question of survival for the next 5 years. So now, coming to my topic. So my topic is not the media. My topic is not how unsafe the media is. I want to speak about two very peculiar South Indian behavior in social media, which is to do with caste and which is to do with movies. I don't know if the same happens in other parts of India, but I find this very peculiar. So, social media platforms in the last few years have provided a space for both promoting and challenging caste based narratives at the same time. On one hand, caste based identities are being reinforced through online communities and discussions, and they perpetuate all types of stereotypes and hierarchies. On the other hand, social media has also become a platform for mobilization and activism against caste discrimination. Now, I'll give you a few examples of how this works. In 2018, there was a Dalit man called Pranav. He was murdered. He was actually walking out of a medical clinic with his pregnant wife. He's a Dalit man, and he's married to a woman who is from a oppressor caste. So they're walking out of the clinic, and then he's killed. So when Pranav's murder is investigated, it is found that his wife Amrita, her father Maruti Rao, who belongs to an oppressor caste, that he's the one who had actually hired these goons to kill him. Now, what would you imagine? You would imagine that people from his caste would feel really ashamed of the crime that he has committed, right? But there was so much of social media mobilization at that time. People from his caste, a lot of them started changing their display pictures to his picture and saying Jai Maruti Rao. There were so many WhatsApp, Telegram groups created at that time. These are basically caste pride pages. They are talking about caste pride. They are people who do not believe in marriages outside their caste. So they were all supporting Maruti Rao. And it was really shocking for us because the murder has just happened and it is a gruesome murder. There's a young woman who's pregnant and who's crying on television and who's talking about their marriage coming to an end and her husband no more. And then there is this large group of people who are actually mobilizing on social media, and they are making this man's picture their display picture. Now you would ask, okay, that's just a social media movement. What impact does it have on ground? It actually had an impact on ground. People had processions on ground. There was a statue put up for this man in some district of Telangana. And eventually, I think after a few years, the man died by suicide. He goes to a hotel in Hyderabad and he just dies by suicide as the trial is going on. Can you imagine the kind of sympathy which was generated by the caste pride pages? Now, another example I want to give you is from Tamil Nadu. This is a murder. I mean, I'm talking only murders, but I want to say the gory stuff first. This is a murder of a young Dalit man called Gokul Raj. Again, Gokul Raj was seen in a temple speaking to a woman who belonged to an oppressor caste, the Gounder caste in Tamil Nadu. And there is a man called Yuvaraj. So Gokul Raj is murdered, and the murder is done by this group called Dhiran Chinnamalai Gounder Perave. It is basically a caste political party in Tamil Nadu, a small caste political party. And this man called Yuvraj takes responsibility of the crime. He says that we have done it, right? At one point of time, he's really boasting about it, but he goes missing. He's absconding. The police is looking for him. The police cannot find him, but he's all over the place. His voice notes are on WhatsApp. He's on Facebook doing lives. He's on TV channels. He's becoming so popular through social media that young people across villages in Tamil Nadu are ready to give him a place to stay, though he's in hiding and he's hiding from the police. So the drama went on for a few days, and this guy went on talking hateful stuff on social media. And these caste pride pages would keep on, escalating it. Finally, he was caught. In 2021 and 22, the trial reached an end in the different courts, in the lower court and in the high court. And we saw unprecedented mobilization again on social media. This time it shifted to Instagram. Before it was Facebook and WhatsApp, now it's on Instagram. So if you go to Instagram and check for Gounder Pride, Tevar Pride, you will see so many Instagram pages where young men, especially, and some of these pages are run by school kids, college students, in which they're basically against exogamy, which is marrying outside the caste. That's how they begin. And then they are outright supporters of people like Yuvraj. So when Yuvraj was sentenced by the court, some of the messages being propagated was one Yuvraj may go to jail, but thousands will be born tomorrow. This is the kind of caste pride mobilization which is happening in South India. And it is very prevalent in Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, more than Karnataka and Kerala. And and they also have favorite film heroes. Now, these film heroes are not propagating caste pride as much these days, but still these guys know which caste their hero belongs to. Now, in the movie, the hero and heroine of the same caste, so it's a safe marriage, right? The gounder is only dating the gounder and marrying the gounder, or the tevar is marrying the tevar. So they make these real life heroes their real life heroes. And in real life also, some of these heroes only marry within their caste because they know that they have to sort of act to their audience. So there is this young woman. Her name is Kausalya. Um, I have known her for many years. Her husband Shankar was again a Dalit man, and she belonged to the Gounder community. He was killed by her father, but of course he was. I cannot say that anymore because the court has acquitted him. But her family gave money to people to murder the husband. So Kausalya recently started a salon. It's a hair spa. She started in Coimbatore in a small village. So she called me and she asked me, "Who can you help me to come for the inauguration?" I reached out to a lot of Tamil actors, but not one person was ready to come because of the kind of caste polarization that this would create, that they go to inaugurate Kausalya's hair salon. Finally, I had to ask Malayalam actor Parvati, who's also very popular in Tamil, and she obliged. As I reached Michigan, Kausalya has been messaging me again because her second salon is opening and she needs another popular face to come. And I'm thinking, who do I call? And she's like, can we call Parvati again? And I'm thinking, isn't that repetitive? Not that Parvati would mind, but we should get a Tamil actor, right? So that's my first challenge after going back to India, other than covering electoral bonds and elections. I have to figure out an actor who will come for inauguration of her second salon because none of the other actors would. Okay, thank you. Yes. But you'll have to come all the way to Coimbatore. Yeah. So this is the problem. And she doesn't have money to pay for your tickets, the second issue. Yeah. So, so the caste pride pages, I think, are something that you all should definitely check out. But let me also tell you that it's not all negative. There is also a lot of positive mobilization. We have been writing a lot about Dalit young women, young men who are Dalits, who are from scheduled caste communities. They're taking pop culture, they're using pop culture, they're using memes, they're using all kinds of references. They have a large following, they're using music and all kinds of things to really also um, oppose this kind of propaganda by the caste pride pages. So that's also happening. We've also seen hashtag Dalit Lives Matters being used quite a bit in India, especially in the South. We have used that quite a bit when we have seen oppression. So that way, there is definitely pushback. While the pushback is difficult, that is also happening. The second thing I want to talk about is movies and social media. Now you may think, so what's the big deal? Shah Rukh Khan also has a lot of fans. Shah Rukh Khan has 1,000 people. In fact, I also went to Mannat. I didn't go to Mannat. I went outside Mannat recently and clicked a picture when I went for this meet of women journalists recently in Bombay. But it's not like Shah Rukh Khan's fan clubs. The fan clubs of Tamil actors and Telugu actors are at a very different level. And I discovered this personally in 2017 when I wrote a very innocuous tweet. I went to watch this really horrendous Shah Rukh Khan movie called Harry Met Sejal. So I tweeted saying that Harry Met Sejal was such a bad movie. It was worse than, I don't know why I said that. I said it was worse than Vijay's movie Sura. Vijay is a big superstar in Tamil Nadu. And I did not realize what I was unleashing. I mean, uh, the next day, there was this hashtag on Twitter called Dhanya is a beep, which means prostitute. It had 66,000 tweets almost, and rape threats. And so, this is why I was called for 2, 3 years about how unsafe is social media for women, right? One of the primary reasons, because the BJP hadn't discovered me then. That's only now. Uh, so, there were so many rape threats. Finally, I decided, let's give a police complaint. So I went and gave a police complaint against some four handles. And believe me, nothing would have happened because Indian, at that time, I went and gave a complaint in Chennai. Though I live in Bengaluru, I gave a complaint in Chennai because all these people are based out of Tamil Nadu. The Chennai police did not even have the email ID for Twitter. That's how things were. So I had friends in Twitter who were former colleagues of mine. So I asked them and we wrote, and they never replied because Twitter hardly gives away IDs, right? They will just tell you login times, this is this, you can figure out. And the cops have no clue. For my good luck, one person out of that went and applied for anticipatory bail. So we knew who he was. Otherwise, I'm telling you, nobody would have traced him. But because he went for anticipatory bail, we found out who the guy is, and the police go to this town called Kanchipuram in Tamil Nadu to arrest him. I start getting frantic calls from his mother, who somehow got my number. The man turns out to be a 22-year-old. His name is Ram, a 22-year-old young man who is working in a mobile shop and he repairs mobile phones. His mother is a widow, and the mobile shop owner and the mother are both speaking to me, and they're like, please take back the complaint. His life will be spoiled. So, this is not my business. I don't actually file criminal complaints. I do not know how to react because, people always tell you, go file a complaint. But in real life, when you file a complaint, that family is going to approach you tomorrow saying that please take back the complaint. And I was really lost. Here's a 22-year-old man. Okay, he gave me a rape threat, but what made him give me a rape threat? Then I said, let me speak to Ram Kumar. So I spoke to Ram Kumar. This is when I met my troll kind of blog, right? I'll just explain to you. So I spoke to Ram Kumar. He has never heard of me before that day. He did not know of Dhanya Rajendran. He did not know of the news minute, not even of Times Now, where I worked for 8 years and yelled my lungs out. So he has not known of my existence previously. He was he did not even have proper internet connection. Or I think 2G or 3G at that time. He had a computer. His owner had a computer in the office, in the mobile showroom. So at 1 hour of a day, he would be given time to access Twitter and all that. And he was very, very what is it? He was very enterprising. So therefore, he was actually running a lot of accounts which had 50,000, 60,000 followers on Twitter. And so he would log in every day from these multiple accounts, and he'll go either abuse people or praise Vijay. So he was told that there is this journalist who loves Ajit. Ajit is another actor. For my bad luck, I did tweet about Ajit's good movie some 5 years ago. So they dug out all those tweets, right? So I am a Ajit supporter who hates Vijay. And I have tweeted in the past about Vijay's past movie. So I have a history of Vijay hatred. Therefore, that's it. Now you have to give her threats. This is what has been told on their groups. Now, through Ram Kumar, I discovered how these people actually work. So they have now. Remember, this is not politics. You are not getting paid for this. You have no great ideological incentive to be in this. Like, for example, people are with the Congress or the BRS, some for most for money, and others because ideologically they agree with the party, right? These guys have no such incentive. They are just fans of an actor, and they spend this many hours of a day either looking at the social. So they have tons of WhatsApp groups, tons. Now, I don't know whether they use new technology now, but at that time, they had tons of WhatsApp groups, and they will put my tweet, for example, in around 300, 400 WhatsApp groups. And those times, WhatsApp groups did not have so many people, they were lesser. And they had Telegram groups, which are larger, and they had Twitter DM groups. And they will write, now go kill her. And they will give time, 5 p.m., start. So there's a particular time given for this. That's why if you see any in the beginning when Twitter trolling or harassment used to happen, there's be a clear time period. 24 hours will be the local guys. Next 24 hours will be the all India guys. Next 24 hours will be the 72 hours will be one tweet's outrage. So now it's not the same. Now, so then they used to put this in WhatsApp groups, and they used to give pointers. So maybe in that group, somebody actually knows me. So they will say, oh, she's also a Malayali working in Karnataka and oozing out all resources of Karnataka. Right? So that's the second point against me. I'm also an Ajit hater. I mean, Ajit lover. Third point against me. So these points will be given to them correctly. And they would sit and churn these tweets on a daily basis without any kind of incentive. And these groups, I'm telling you, has around a million a million fan followers for each fan clubs. And I'm talking about actors like Allu Arjun, Mahesh Babu, Vijay. There is this other guy called Vijay Devarkonda. His movies are terrible, but he's got a big fan base. If you're going to put this on YouTube, please cut this part out. Uh, then, yeah, I mean, uh, there are so many of these actors who have these large fan groups, and I always wonder what is the incentive. So Vijay at least meets his fans. He has meetings with them every month, and now if you ask me, what is the on ground reality of these fan clubs? Right? Why are these fan clubs there? One is that they do a lot of charity, which is the good thing. All these fan clubs compete for charity. We do blood, they do blood transfusion camps, they do this, they do give textbooks to children, so all kinds of things to do. But they also make a shift to politics. Vijay has just announced his political party, and guess who is the first spokesperson of the party that Vijay announced? My troll Ram Kumar. Yeah. So the Vijay has announced four spokesperson. The first name was Ram Kumar, and I actually interviewed him. I thought it was a fun exercise. I interviewed Ram Kumar. I mean, he's now older and more wiser, and he said yes, because you give a police case, I've become a better person. And Vijay fans now apparently do not give rape threats, which was a big, advancement. But the point is, yeah, but the point is the fan clubs. Yes, the fan clubs have now transitioned into what he will use to build his political party. So most of these actors do see a political future. Therefore, a lot of them are mobilizing these fan clubs, which are unruly in many ways and dangerous. But they are now claiming that when their actors become politicians, they become very mature. I really hope, for the sake of India's democracy, that that is true, that Vijay's fans or any other fans have indeed become democratic and, uh, you know, and are not issuing rape threats. But these are two things that I want to talk to you about. In the question answer session, please do ask me about how unsafe it is for women journalists and how difficult it is for independent media. But I really wanted to just speak about something different. And thank you for giving me that opportunity, Joyjeet. Thank you.